and welcome to Flappity Flap Podcast with your hosts, Brandon and Sarah.
Hi there.
Welcome. Happy Easter. Or as my sister said, what did she say? She just texted me, said she wished Mom a happy zombie Jesus Day. And even though my mom is an atheist or an agnostic, she wasn't raised Catholic. She was raised Lutheran.
What is Lutheran
She
again?
couldn't bring herself to say it back.
She couldn't bring herself to say it back?
My mom couldn't bring herself to say it back, even though she's not religious.
Because it's
not a practicing,
sacrilegious?
I guess. She was indoctrinated enough. I don't know what Lutheran is. It's like some sub-Christian. I don't know.
Interesting.
Isn't it, though?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have done nothing for Easter because we're not religious and don't like eggs that much.
Don't have children's.
That, too.
Although
Yeah.
I do like Easter candy. I do like those malt ball things.
Yeah.
You know, the malt ball eggs? Those are pretty good.
I think they're good compared to a lot of other Easter candy, but the malt ball, they just, like, I don't know, they make me think of, like, dog food or something. It's a weird...
You should like that.
You're hilarious. Can you keep the noise down over there?
They're good. I like malt balls.
I like the Cadbury's Snicker eggs. Not true Cadbury's eggs, but, superior.
Share in the comments which is your favorite Easter candy.
Good call. Yeah.
I don't really like the solid... I do like Peeps, though.
What is that? I don't think I've ever seen you eat a Peep.
I've never seen you eating a Peeps.
Shut up.
I like the crystally sugar on the outside, and they have a fun little shape, and they got the little eyes. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They're just
The little eyes that are just like penciled on practically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just little dolloped on chocolate eyes or whatever they are. Probably not real chocolate, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like them.
Interesting. Well, they last for fucking ever because
They're marshmallows. There's sugar. Of course they last forever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway,
unless
I had
you get them wet.
friend sabotage my desk and load it up with Peeps because I made some disparaging comment about Peeps, and so she made it like a Peep protest in my desk. I have pictures. I'll post them, although you can't post them on YouTube because we're not big enough. But
You can put them in the video, I guess.
oh yeah, I can make it like the thumbnail.
You could.
But yeah, and I finally threw them out after a while and then kept a couple. There's one at my desk that just got like super bleached out, but it's still there.
Because it was in
like
the sun
a rock now
or something?
No, it just kind of bleached over time, or maybe the color seeped into the Peep.
Oh.
Seeped into the Peep.
Interesting. Yeah, and they get all hard.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they went through the death stages of a human body where they got hard and then soft again and then hard. I think that's what happens is you have like the first rigor or something, and then like maybe the body softens again, and then it goes hard for good.
Wow.
I'm not sure, but I'll look it up.
Cool comparisons. Thinking about candy
We're
and then
basically like marshmallows.
dead bodies.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for that image. Next time I'm eating a Peep, I'll have to think about that.
Just think about some old lady with a toe tag. Peeps.
No, I was... Anyway,
You're welcome.
Let's move beyond this, please.
Oh, mortal coil. Okay.
No. Beyond the Peeps death.
I get it.
Okay.
I got it. So Brandon, travestorially, had never seen Top Gun. Mm-hmm. So what did I have to make him do? Watch Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did that. And then I had to fight him.
Not 10 minutes ago.
I had to fight him to make him not stop the glorious
Credits.
song at the end.
Yeah.
Cheap Trick, Mighty Wings. Like we were physically wrestling. I won. He had to hear the whole song.
I kind of just wanted it to stop. The music through
Tread
the
carefully.
movie, the music.
Tread
Shut
carefully.
up. Shut up and let me speak. You forced me to watch this movie. Let me speak.
You enjoyed it. All right, go ahead.
So the music, I didn't like the synth stuff from it. It felt, I mean, obviously, it's from 80, what, 4?
86.
86? So that's an old movie.
Yeah.
But it's just that synth stuff that it makes me think of like a keyboard, like an old keyboard when you press the one key and it plays a whole song, a whole like synthy kind of song. That's what it makes me think of. And that's why I'm like, oh no. No.
They couldn't know how dated it was going to be.
Of course. Yeah, I know. And some of the music held up. Like the Danger Zone music, I think holds up.
Kenny Loggins always holds up.
Yeah. But just that synth stuff was like, oh, and then when he's singing, it's, oh, no, stop it. And I'm surprised you could handle it because you are the worst at handling cringe people singing that shouldn't be singing.
It cringes me every time, but I've watched it. I've watched that movie since I was a kid, and my dad, watched it, probably brought it home as a rental. And he was into, aviation stuff. And, he would have like calendars of like F-14s and stuff like that. And I wanted to be like my dad. So I was like into it all the way. And it was just a great movie. And who didn't have a crush on Tom Cruise, and Val Kilmer and,
but it
so
felt very much like when I was watching it, it felt very much like, it's a drama. It felt like, not to be sexist, but I mean,
what?
I don't know how
Just
else
say
to
it.
say it. It felt like a movie made for women, other than like, the flight stuff and the action. But there was a lot of,
Yeah. There was a strong
not that men
story.
can't enjoy that kind of stuff. It's just like typically,
I think that you don't enjoy... I don't know why. I feel like you don't enjoy romantic stories in shows and movies. And yet you're quite a... not like overtly romantic, but you're definitely like more attentive than a lot of...
I think just because it's weird and like just kind of
forced.
fake. And they're breathing in each other's faces. And they haven't had a mint in a while. So you're just thinking, man, that must stink.
You have ruined shows and movies for me because...
How have you not thought of that? Every time I see a love scene...
but it's not at the forefront.
Every time I see a love scene, especially from... What is that show? The old Scottish show...
Outlander? Yeah.
It's like, they didn't have...
I do think about...
Maybe they had some mint plant, but they had some stank mouth. And they're breathing right up on each other's faces.
Yeah.
And that's all I can think about when I'm watching that kind of stuff. And also, it like, there are awkward moments, and it's like the camera's too close. It's like, I don't need to see, I don't need to see it.
You've made your point. I don't need to see it. I guess, I don't know, like maybe it is typically women who still like to see that because that's just a strong part of our lives and yearnings. And it was definitely watching it now.
Hollywood forces it. Sorry to interrupt,
that's okay.
But Hollywood completely forces it, and it's like unnatural.
Yeah.
And there's not, it feels like, it feels like pandering maybe. Rather than like something that's actually necessary. It's like a calculated, we're going to put this in because we know that people will like it.
Well, I definitely think like the love scenes, the makeout scenes, I definitely think those are pandering, or I don't know if that's kind of goes along with gratuitous, like just doing it because you can. Because it's a draw for some people, but I am more interested in just the romantic part of it and the development and the tension building. But like, I don't need to see two actors who I'm pretty sure were never in a relationship with their tongues down each other's throats.
Doing the little parrot thing where you like, I'm sure.
Just dip your tongue.
I don't know if any of you listening have ever seen a parrot with like a nut or something, or like anything really.
Or just
anything. They like to stick their little tongues out and like like taste things, and that's kind of what it looked like. And there was a silhouette in the movie, so it was very like, this is what's happening with their mouths.
Right. I think what they're trying to say with that image is this is what's happening with their genitalia as well, but we're like, it's like representative. It's representing it with their mouths. Okay. You know what's happening. We know what's happening. But I definitely definitely too, as a kid, if you're watching that with your parents, you're like, oh my God, you know, but everything else about that story was fine. But I just, for the most part, don't think you need to see that because it kind of spoils it in a way.
I thought it was fine. It's just not interesting.
And
to
also
me.
because I still am convinced that Tom Cruise is gay. So I'm not, as a kid or a teenager, I found it convincing because I wanted to believe that he was straight. And then some level in your mind, you're like, oh, maybe I could get with him, you know. But as an adult, I don't feel that way. You know, I have someone better than Tom Cruise. I don't, for multiple reasons. You're not
Cruise?
A Scientologist.
Oh yeah, he's a Scientologist.
Yeah, but also
is he still a Scientologist?
I think so. But I think he's gay. I think he's closet gay.
What makes you think that?
I don't know. It's the same reason that I think the guy from Outlander is gay. Except I think Tom Cruise maybe hides it better. Because when I watch, I forget how do you say the guy's name? Sam Hoon. What the hell is his name?
Sam Hoon?
No, that's not it. It's Sam something. When I look at him, especially out of character, like being interviewed as an actor.
You're talking about the Outlander guy?
Yeah.
So the main character, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. Outlander. God damn it. God damn this phone. Outlander.
Sorry, I have a hair
Sam
in my mouth.
Hooen? I don't know how to say his last name.
Let me see.
This.
Sam Hewen? Maybe Hewen? Because it looks...
Even in that picture, he looks like gay to me. He just looks gay.
Let me see.
And his mannerisms, there's just something about him.
He looks gay? How does he look gay?
Okay, well that...
I don't understand.
I think it's why I don't find him, like, attractive in the show, is I just think you're gay. I don't know.
Weird.
It's not that that's not an attractive, that makes someone unattractive, but if I look at someone and think you're not the person who
I think
would
we understand.
Be... Okay, I just want to...
No.
In this day and age, you know.
I get it.
Okay. I just feel there's just something when he's talking, and he's very masculine. He's very strong. Everything about him is strong and tough,
but he's soft-spoken?
It's not even like that. It's very subtle, and I could be wrong because I thought Rhett and Link were both... I thought both of them were gay at different times.
Is it his mannerisms?
I can't put my finger on it. I just kind of look at... Huh. I have a friend who I am not really... Like, I don't ever see, but who's like a Facebook friend. And it's the same thing where I see a picture of her partner and I'm like, that guy is totally gay.
I think you've shown me pictures.
I can't really talk about it.
Can't get into it, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, yeah. Well, and I could be wrong, but I feel very strongly about the Outlander guy and Tom Cruise, not quite as much.
I don't think you can put people into a box because I feel like there are also effeminate men that are definitely straight, but I don't know. I mean, you can't know for sure. I thought for sure John Mulaney was gay, and I'm still not sure. You can be gay and be married or be bi, but when I heard that he was married to a woman, I was like, what? Well, he's also like a theater guy. He's like an arts,
But I just feel like his mannerisms, like I can very clearly point to the way he talks, and it's like, oh, okay,
yeah.
But yeah, I think the only reason that it's important to me, or perplexing, or like a puzzle, is
it's hard to believe.
And also, if they are living that way, because I could see that for Tom Cruise, that would be a huge change to his, or impact to his billing power, like as a star. His, I feel like there's a different word for it.
Really?
marketability as a blockbuster action hero.
Yeah,
And
that's
that would be
true.
great if that could change, but a huge draw, and maybe less so now that he's getting older, I don't know, is that he was a sex symbol. You know, I think it would be great if he could, let's say he was, come out and still be that. I mean, we'll get there someday, but if he's having to, as, a people, I mean, I definitely think it's happening, more and more.
But as far as action hero goes,
And
it's
just his
probably
legacy, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be really hard. Like, I could see him making that choice of, I'm not gonna come out, at least until my kind of action superstar.
He's had such a long career.
Yeah.
Was that his first big action role?
I think.
Because that was 34 years ago, and he's still going strong doing action movies.
I think that was maybe his first, like, I think maybe Legend was before that, because he was very young for Legend, I think. But I think that was his major breakout blockbuster role.
Crazy.
I mean, it's always listed as, like, the main, the first thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking after having watched it, how it seems like an anomaly to me, because it's action, but it's drama with a very clear, like, romantic feel to it and very dramatic. So I was just thinking, like, who does this appeal to? Does it appeal to men? Because I feel like most men back in that time would be like, ugh, like, oh, romance, like, okay, cool, but get back to, like, the planes fighting. And I feel like women would be the opposite. And you told me that you thought women enjoyed the action.
Well, I think it was so well done and exciting and not super technical that it was just very thrilling, just great effects. And then you all have all this man candy, and then
Candy.
but that maybe it was one of the first that was, like, appealable to both, genders, because I feel like it's that movie that you can go on a date to see. And both would
enjoy
equally,
parts of it.
Yeah, enough. And maybe the man's like, oh, the fucking romance stuff, and the woman's like, oh, I don't know, flying. But
and
I don't know.
The man's like, why are they playing volleyball?
Yeah. And the woman's like, yeah, more volleyball, but less touching of each other. I don't know.
Less grab ass.
Yeah, so he was in Risky Business in 1983, which was not like an action thing, but that was, I think maybe a big breakout role for him. All the Right Moves, I didn't see. Looks like it's a football movie. Legend was 1985. And then Top Gun, I think, was like blockbuster. I don't know if it was like a blockbuster immediately, but... And that, of course, was directed by Tony Scott, who was the brother of Ridley Scott, who we just kind of reviewed Alien recently. And he, of course, committed suicide. I forget. Someone the other day said...
if a lot of people would know about that. So what happened?
So, someone the other day, I saw an article that said you shouldn't say, please stop saying my child committed suicide, because it harkens back to the idea of it being a crime, like a sin against God.
To commit?
Yeah. So he killed himself, took his own life. He jumped off a bridge in LA. And then I think it came out later that he had been battling some kind of cancer. And I'm sorry, I don't have it right in front of me, but,
man.
Yeah. So I think that the family had denied it for a time. And then they did come out and say that, but I don't know if he was like, had a short-term prognosis, because I think that even Tom Cruise had said that he had just recently talked to him about maybe follow up to Top Gun or something. And, anyway. So it was a bit baffling at the time but I think it had to do with his cancer.
Oh,
I didn't really prep anything for that, but
That's
I just
rough.
wanted to remind people, yeah, that he was just he did a lot of great movies, you know. I feel like his movies, maybe more than Ridley's, did have that romantic aspect. So, I don't know, maybe he was just a bit more of a romantic. I think he didn't do Days of Thunder, did he? No, I think that was Ron Howard. But Tom Cruise, Days of Thunder was like Top Gun, but with race cars.
Ron Howard.
Let's see. I could be wrong. Oh, it was Tony Scott. I'm sorry. I don't know why it was Ron Howard. Oh, Ron Howard directed Far and Away, which... Anyway. So it was like the same kind of thing. There was a major romantic aspect to it with Nicole Kidman in Days of Thunder. It was just, I don't know, kind of funny. So what did you think? Like, what were some of the big positives and then maybe big negatives for you as someone coming to a kind of a classic, I don't know if you'd call it cult following, but just like a much beloved film, coming to it in your 30s, never having seen it before? What's like the first thing that you maybe think of now when you think of that movie? Is it the volleyball scene?
Well, I think of Aaron singing that song. Aaron from Game Grumps singing that. What is it? Playing with the boys or something.
Yeah, Kenny Loggins.
Because it's the boys.
Something with the boys.
Yeah.
Anyway, half naked, you know.
It just felt awkward, and the high fives and stuff. I don't know.
Hey, it's bros, you know.
Yeah.
Like a team building exercise.
I know, and it's the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to repeat something that I had said to you while we were watching, is that while watching it from the start, it didn't feel dated. But then you get to like this kind of party bar scene where everybody's in like kind of normal clothes, and you're like, oh, it's the 80s.
Yeah. Like big stretchy sweaters and maybe like fluorescent.
It's kind of crazy how timeless certain outfits and, you know, certain outfits are and certain looks are. Like military haircut, military outfit is like timeless. It's kind of weird. And then you see these women with like very red makeup and like big poofy hair and
feathered. Yeah.
Everybody's dyed.
Yeah.
Not dyed. Bleached.
Yeah.
Everybody's got
Meg
bleached
Ryan's hair was like bleached with horrible roots. Like, I don't think she ever had that hair.
It was pretty strange.
Wait, which part? Her hair or just the 80s feel of it?
Both.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, obviously a good movie.
Well, I definitely think because so much of it is in the Top Gun Academy or training and in the air, in the jets, like you're not getting that 80s feel as much. You are with some of like the bro stuff and all the high-fiving and
the way they talk to each other. But then again, at the same time, Goose's lines were a little bit timeless. Like some of his sass. I mean, I feel like some of that would hold up today.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool. And a lot of it felt quite natural, I think. Except for the high fives.
And then the line where Viper, played by Tom Skerritt, who was also an alien, who's like their kind of instructor, and he kind of helps Tom Cruise later when he has some struggles, and he's like flying up with them, and he's like, damn, this kid's good. And it was like so like, what is this, Karate Kid or something? It was so,
damn, this kid's good.
it's like you're just taking kind of inner monologue and making it outer monologue. Like you wouldn't when you're pulling how many G's, you'd just be like, oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you know, you got to have those lines that date it.
Yeah. But I don't think there was a lot of that.
No?
I mean, I thought
really.
Some of the scenes I still thought really held up. I really liked Tom Skerritt's character. I just felt like all his scenes were like solid, and I found him believable as like a military commanding guy who also had this side to him where he's kind of trying to mentor this young kid. He's trying
Who
to
is
be
Tom
tough.
Skerritt again?
He's Viper, who that was his call sign. So
Okay,
he's
the
one
mustache guy.
Yeah, you just keep calling. So he flew with Tom Cruise's dad. So he kind of knew, he was able to tell him something to kind of give him some relief and maybe catharsis to kind of get him back in the saddle. And he was very believable, I thought, as this guy who was kind of being a father figure, but also being tough on him. But you could see he wanted to help him, partly because he's an excellent pilot. Tom Cruise is an excellent pilot. But some of the other stuff, I mean, definitely, I don't know if you call it homoerotic or just, I don't know. I mean, men in a space where they don't have a lot of women around, and I don't know, there's a lot of ass slapping, and
I wonder,
maybe that's just,
was there ass slapping?
Not really, but
I wonder if there's like a cult, would you call it a cult?
A culture?
Cult following, like gay cult following of the movie?
Maybe.
Because there is with like Toy Story, I think. And what's that movie with the yellow brick road?
Wizard of Oz?
The Wizard of Oz, yes. There's like a gay cult following of those movies.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is for this, because I gotta say, some of the looks that Tom Cruise was given to Val Kilmer's character were a little bit more like, what? How would you say?
They're more intense and intimate than the looks he was giving Kelly McGillis.
Yes. Yes.
These guys could have a fucking relationship.
Because I just remember thinking while watching it, like, he looks like he really likes him. He's giving him looks like he really likes him, but maybe it's supposed to be like a competitive, like, yeah, you think you're good, I'm good kind of look.
They have like a tension and a feud and a competition, but there's also like an understanding. And I feel like throughout Val Kilmer, you kind of think he's like a dick, but he's also kind of calling Tom Cruise out on his shenanigans.
And
like,
he turns out to be the more reasonable guy.
You're not safe. Whose team are you on? And you're like, okay, he's not a dick. He does want to be the best, so he's clearly like a little bit maybe threatened. But it's kind of, there's a little bit of like a mentor or like older brother, younger brother. But also, yeah, I think at the end of the movie you said, okay, I think you might be right about the gay thing because of the looks he was giving Val Kilmer's character. Yeah. Or they're just superior actors, able to have this chemistry. I mean, you can have chemistry between, actors of the same gender without it being sexual. And I don't find Kelly McGillis I didn't find her, she annoyed me. It was a very 80s, the look she was giving, the bedroom eyes, it was like very 80s. Like, I can't really blame her. Maybe that's just how they did women.
I thought it all was quite 80s.
But that, I prefer the relationships between the men. I feel like they could have done away with most of the romantic stuff.
I think I agree with that because it was an action movie.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of the time, it's like with the Thor movie. The first Thor movie with, what is her name?
Natalie Portman.
It felt so forced.
It was so gross.
Like, and she was just like, I fucking him every moment of the movie.
And you're supposed to be this progressive scientist, this smart woman, and you're just going to pieces over this guy because he's tall and muscular and blonde. Oh, and a god or whatever he is. I don't even know.
I mean, come on.
You idiot.
But still, it just felt forced, and it's like, just have the action. Just make it an action Thor movie. You don't have to have quote unquote something for the ladies, because I think just him being on screen is something for the ladies.
But I think the ladies do, I think, still want to have a little bit of that. But I feel like they could have done away in this movie with the bedroom scene. I feel like they could have just had the fight and then made out and then maybe cut. I don't know. Like, what they're doing. Maybe she wakes up next morning in bed with, finding the little paper airplane and the flower, rose, whatever. And that's it. Just cut out the whole weird silhouetted parrot tongue.
A little less
action.
Yeah. Like, what is happening? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
This just,
Do you know how to sex?
You're just making me uncomfortable now.
But I feel like that would give the ladies the kind of release they want because they kind of want the sexual tension, but like without having to see. And then you risk it being dated, which that scene kind of was.
The makeout scene?
Mm-hmm. Well, just the love scene, Anyway.
Was it?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just like, I feel like love scenes these days, they don't really showcase the tongue action as much. And they just really...
He was poking his tongue in there.
I feel like I remember as a kid watching that, I think with my cousin, female cousin. And it was like, whoa, like they're tonguing. That's grown up stuff.
Whoa, what is happening?
Not realizing, like at my young age, what sex was. Like the grown up stuff is about, that's next. That's the real grown up stuff. But it was like, ooh, tongue, like, oh, And now I'm like, what are you, teenagers? Like, are you going to do hickeys now? Like, I don't know.
And all I can think the whole time, which, I mean, I guess I just have a bad brain, but all I can think is like, did you guys both like brush and mouthwash? Did you guys both, do you have like a mint? Because all I can think is like morning breath or,
You guys see what I'm dealing with? We can't just ever like have a kiss.
Well, it's like always in movies and Hollywood, Hollywood movies, they have an actor and an actress or, a pair, a couple up in each other's faces, close talking. Like people don't do that. You can smell them. And if you can smell them, you might be like, can you get like a mint? Can you grab here, I got a mint for you.
I got some, perhaps some Banaka. Yeah, I guess I try not to think
Ace
about.
Ventura 1?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the first, the one.
Sarah hates Ace Ventura 2.
I don't hate it.
You talk so much shit on it.
Only because you talk like it's the better one.
Ace Ventura 2 was a great movie.
I feel like you stuttered over that. Like you didn't even believe your own words. Was a great movie.
It was a great movie.
Okay.
So many good
the
moments
Slinky scene
that
was
I can't really remember
the best.
right now. Was the Slinky scene from the second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, everything else in the
We'll
first
just
movie
do what you want to do.
Other than that, it's the recycled jokes.
Not other than that. There's so many good little moments.
But I'm just... No, other than that, the first movie, all the scenes were superior.
They were upping the ante. When he said like a glove in the second one, it's because he fucking
recycled.
Barrel rolled the car into a parking space.
But I feel like they could have given him another line. I don't know. Like anything.
Ace Ventura 2 was a great movie.
All right. So back to this movie. So who was your favorite character?
Probably Goose.
Yeah, that was clear.
Or the
What were some of his lines that now I can't even think of? Sign language. The finger or communicating.
communicating.
Like, giving him the bird. The finger. Yes, I know the finger, Goose. I'm sorry, I hate it when it does that. I forget what else he says.
I don't remember. They were all kind of like off the cuff. Not off the cuff, but like kind of throwaway type things. But they just felt natural and real.
Oh, when he's like, I was...
He was a real dude.
And I was in the effort or whatever. I forget what he was saying. He was like, we. He's like, sorry, we.
And the guy behind was laughing at them. Yeah. I don't know if he was supposed to be.
It looked like a genuine...
It looked like a genuine laugh.
Who knows? Yeah.
Like maybe they did it kind of improvised. And they just went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and I think the guy with a scar on his head.
Oh,
that's also in X-Files.
Almost said Chester Copperpot. Again, that's the second time Chester Copperpot has come up. Chester.
He's a really good actor, in my opinion.
Which is interesting because I think he was a lot of times typecast as the bad guy. So Michael Ironside or Ironsides, I think it's Ironside.
And he has a cool ass name.
Yeah, I don't know if he was born that way. Shall I look him up? Wouldn't it be funny if he was just like Michael Jensen?
Michael Dinkelberg. Not that Dinkelberg is a bad name if your name is Dinkelberg, but
too late.
You have to admit that it's kind of a
It's
Dinkel.
not like Ironside. You can't get through this side because it's made of iron.
Yeah, it's kind of the coolest name you could ever possibly have.
Michael Ironside. Jester was his call sign.
Jester's not a very cool name, though.
Yeah, it just makes you think of one of those clown guys with the tights.
Yeah,
and the
Jester.
hat.
Otherwise known as a
Shut
jester.
up. Shut the fuck up. Of course he's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
He was a successful arm wrestler in his teenage years. Holy shit. He initially wanted to be a writer.
That's all.
He wrote a play.
Those are some interesting things.
Well,
He was an arm wrestler. He wanted to be a writer.
At age 15, he wrote a play called The Shelter that won first prize in a Canada-wide university contest. Interesting.
Yeah, he's a really good actor, I think. I think.
Well, this one doesn't say whether that was his real, born name. Born? Christian? Whatever.
Ironside. Does it mean like sword? Look it up. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
You don't have to.
He was in Starship Troopers, Total Recall, Scanners.
Oh, he was in Starship Troopers with Busey's son.
Yeah, I don't remember him, but if it's a military type thing, I mean that makes sense.
He was like a
military guy,
a head guy.
Soldier.
No, I don't think he was a soldier. I think he was like I don't know how rankings work.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been in a lot of stuff, but he was definitely like I think kind of typecast as a villain.
Who's your favorite caricature?
Yeah, I think probably Goose. I really ended up liking Val Kilmer's character. I like the progression of him being kind of an arrogant dick to being like, I actually don't like you because you're not safe,
Mm-hmm. And he was nice in the locker room. He was like, bro,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert, Goose dies. If you haven't watched this 34-year-old movie,
good.
Goose dies.
Yeah, and you called it, and you didn't know that from any other. I mean, it's not like it's.
I didn't know it, but
you watch enough movies.
There's like a formula.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked over at you and I was like, Goose dies, doesn't he?
And I was like, you can't ask me shit like that.
And what was the other thing? I was like, they're gonna fuck now, aren't they? And you were like, just so many like predictable little like 80s moments.
Because they were fighting, and it was like he was very
I know,
predatory.
But it's like a formulaic type thing.
It's not just the 80s. I think that's still.
I can sense the next scene that is coming.
They're slapping you in the face with it, practically.
Not really, though. It just was the formula. Goose. There was no evidence that Goose was going to die. It was just like they have a connection that is going to be broken. Yeah,
and that will be part of Tom Cruise's rite of passage or whatever.
And then Tom Cruise. Maverick throws his dog tags out in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Goose's dog tags, yeah. So I'm holding on to these dog tags. They're my talisman. They're my inspiration. They're channeling Goose's spirit. And then, I won the battle with the Ruskies or whatever, so I don't need you anymore. Trink. Chucks them into the sea.
But he threw them into the sea because his mentor, one of the guys, says, let him go because the mentor had lost multiple comrades.
Yeah.
Friends.
He said, this is what you do in our line of work, and you just keep, there will be more.
Which is so rough.
There will be more, but yeah, you have to let him go and do this job.
Yeah, but chucking his dog tags?
I feel like you could keep them.
I think I would keep them.
Yeah.
I mean, he was your bro.
Yeah, and they don't just give you like replacement dog tags, especially for, or send them to his wife.
Yeah, I think she probably would have appreciated them.
Like, why did you get them and I didn't get them?
It was
and then you threw them into the sea? Move.
Yeah, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
It seemed like they were trying to go for a very symbolic thing, but I was just feeling like, bro, what are you doing?
How rude, how disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually thought the scene with Meg Ryan after Goose has died and they're in like the weird I didn't really get the living arrangements. I don't know if I don't think they're like barracks, but maybe they have little apartments, but they seem to have this little common area with like chairs, and she's sitting in there with her kid sitting in another one because they're just kind of, I don't know, they're waiting or mourning or whatever. And Maverick's in there and he's picking up some of Goose's stuff, and And then he's about to leave, and then he goes back and, stands there, and she gets up and, talks to him. And I think it's like my favorite scene, or the best scene.
Why is that?
Because I do think that Meg Ryan, at least back in the day, was like,
A good actor?
I think she was a really good actor. And I think she was so young and fresh, and just this young widow now with a kid.
Yeah.
With a, husband who's doing this super dangerous job. And she still has the presence of mind to help Maverick and say, Goose loved flying with you. He would have flown without you anyway. He would have hated it, but he would have done it. And as a kid, I thought, well, that's a mean thing to say. And because I didn't understand, she's telling him you have to keep going without him.
Yeah.
It's just funny, the things that when you see things as a kid and then you watch them, and then over the year, because you've watched them since you were a kid, you keep these like notions that you had of dialogue or the story. So you have like this like delayed development when it comes to that, unless compared to if I saw that movie as an adult and I went, oh, I see what she's doing.
Well, the movie kind of contradicts itself, in my opinion, in the way it's that, I mean, I guess it depicts like just normal life for military people, in the way that you have this like home life, very, romantic, strong, like passionate. And then the opposite end is like, you have to forget your friends and move on. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like fucked.
Yeah. It's kind of like, why are you going to get close to these people?
But maybe maybe it's just a little like insight into the world of military people.
Yeah.
Like, you have to try to operate, like a normal human at home and with your loved ones and your friends. But when they die in the field, you just have to get past it, I guess.
Yeah. But also, you have to create that bond with them to be like a team player and to have each other's backs.
Yeah.
But then that bond is potentially going to fuck you when you lose them and you can't get past it.
Yeah.
Or you try to then have that with another person,
so
and then
strange,
you're like, I'm just going to lose you, so I'm not going to get close to you. But so I didn't ever remember, or I didn't know. So Rio, because they have the pilot, so like Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer are like the pilots, and then they have the person who sits in back, which is, they kept calling it a Rio, and that is a radar intercept officer.
Which would be the worst
I had to look
job.
It up. Just, yeah.
It would be the worst job ever.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm at the mercy of the guy in front of me. And if he loses it or gets shot because they had machine guns on those planes, imagine having the guy in front of you die. And you're just like, well, guess I'm next. I guess you could eject.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm guessing they don't have like backup controls. Like, you can take over when that guy in front dies.
I have no idea. But it would probably be super stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it would be, I'm sure.
Well, and I think that's why at one point Goose says, I have a family to think about. Like, I can't be taking risks up there because I'm basically relying on you.
Yeah.
You're flying this plane. So when you do something stupid, this isn't a joint decision. I'm just along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. And then he ends up fucking killing him. I mean, they say in the movie, it wasn't your fault, but like, he was tailing the other guy too close. I mean, I feel like they would have decided that it was either one of their faults. It was either Maverick's fault, or it was either Iceman's fault.
Yeah, right.
I think they would have decided it was one of them. But
well, it kind of, I feel like the way they made it sound was that maybe it wasn't a common thing that would have happened, that they would have gotten caught in their jet wash or whatever, except then that it happens again later in the movie in the final battle scene. Final skirmish, whatever it is.
So what happens?
So it happens again, but he's able to get control of it. So maybe it's not super common that it would happen and you wouldn't be able to regain control.
Oh, okay. So what had happened for the people listening is Maverick, Tom Cruise's character, was following Val Kilmer's character, Iceman or whatever.
Yeah.
And he pulls away. He's tailing, Tom Cruise is tailing Val Kilmer very closely. Val Kilmer pulls away and leaves like a jet stream.
They called it a jet wash. We're caught in his jet wash.
And I guess it like cut the engines. I don't know how
I
any
think
of it
it
works,
just
but
like I don't know.
like traveling through a boat's wake, I guess,
Yeah,
is a way you
but
could
really
think of it.
like 100 times stronger or more probably.
Oh yeah.
Or like if you think about being under what, like a 747, if it flies over you and then you just get swept up and, you know, you get blown all over the place. But these are jets going at supersonic speeds and
Yeah.
then you just get caught in it and it threw them off and they couldn't regain control.
The
So they were
engine's
in
cut.
a flat spin. So yeah, that was, and then of course Goose hits the eject, and I think he,
Wangs
has
his
a head
head.
injury or he breaks his neck. I don't think they talk about the specifics, but it's very sad. I mean, every time I watched that movie as a kid, it was like I loved it. I mean, I loved that movie, but that was always such an emotional roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And he had, and you're introduced to his wife and kid, his young son, and you see him playing the piano and singing with them and being happy, and then you're like, fuck, you know.
Taken away so easily. Taken away in fucking training.
Yeah,
How much would that suck? Like, not only,
yeah.
man, just completely needless.
But they were so they were lined up behind each other trying to get a shot at the MiG. I mean, they weren't just.
But you would think that they would know, being the top trained
Yeah.
pilots. You would think that they would know about shit like that. Like, you can't pull maneuvers like this right up
Yeah.
next to each other. One of you is gonna die.
Yeah. I'm sure that there are people who have like torn that scene apart, or like they
Yeah.
have like tech people or like stunt people go through and talk about like
You know there are Air Force people that have
Yeah.
torn that apart.
yeah.
There has to be.
But
If,
you have
if
to
I'm
kinda-
tearing it apart,
Yeah.
who knows jack crap about it?
Yeah. But you have to kind of dumb some shit down. I mean, some of it, like the aircraft carrier and all the crew and the jets, like they do their homework. Some stuff's gonna get let go or maybe get dumbed down or dramatized. Maybe that would like never happen with like seriously professional, proficient people. But they have to manufacture these and then maybe oversimplify how it goes down to just, first of all, make the movie short enough and make it interesting and
Well,
understandable.
And the director
To
and
the
the
audience.
writer, I mean, have probably done as much research as they can, but they can't be like experts on the matters, especially back in the 80s when the internet wasn't in existence.
Yeah. You would just probably hire all these like consultants,
Yeah.
actual military people. Excuse me.
People.
Does that happen all the time when I'm doing the podcast? Fuck. So, what would you give this out of 10 stars?
I mean, I think I would give it like an 8.
You don't have to. I won't jump over the table and attack you. I know I did threaten to drop kick you at one point because I think you were making fun of the music. You can't make fun of the guitar anthem in the beginning and the dong. That all this. I thought all the sound effects and the kind of soundtracky stuff that wasn't really music. Even the synth stuff with the sad music after Goose dies is like, man, it's so good.
I
But
think it's just because it's nostalgia for you.
Yeah.
I had said while we were watching that I think a proper remake of the music, like orchestral, would be pretty epic. Because the synth stuff, did I tell you this on the podcast just now, or did I tell you this earlier? Where it sounds
You told
like
me earlier.
it sounds like
Oh no,
those
you
old
did. No, you did
keyboard
tell that
songs where you
Yeah.
yeah. It sounded like that, and that's why it hits this level of cheese in my brain that's just not. I can't feel anything like, I can't feel any epic feelings. It's just cheese.
Yeah. Definitely a huge part is nostalgia. So I don't really notice it. I noticed some stuff that was like cringe, but I don't really notice the rest because that was a time in the 80s and 90s. Tom Cruise was huge. That movie
He's
was
still
just, the
huge.
music was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like, you didn't have like the internet to just satisfy your ADD nature. Like you had movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you couldn't just buy them the next day, or like you waited for stuff to come out and you went and saw it in the theaters and you had to wait forever for it to come out on VHS. And it was like,
And if that's all you had, if you didn't have a lot of channels, you would rent the movie or buy the VHS and
Yeah.
and watch it over and over
Exactly.
again. Yeah.
And that's what I did with this movie. I remember watching it in my parents' bedroom because that was the only place I think that had a VHS or.
I know. That's what I did with the Ren and Stimpy movies. I mean, shows, episodes.
So funny. It's just so funny because they're so different.
I know.
That's cool. So you'd give it an 8? Like, is there?
Yeah.
What if you? Okay, so for the time, would you score it differently against like today's standards versus like 80 standards?
I mean, as a jaded, person in the 2020s.
Sure.
Yes, I would give it an 8, but if I had watched it 34 years ago when it came out, I would probably give it a 10.
Oh, so 8 is your jaded number. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess probably like a 9 back then and maybe like an 8 or a 7 today. Just because I think a huge part was the romance story, the cheese of that.
I didn't even think that was that bad, really. It's just felt
just
a
kind
little,
of a waste of time.
Yeah, it felt a little out of place.
The whole scene where he's at her house and they're talking and reminiscing and the weird her bedroom eyes. I just feel like, man, woman, you're like his superior or his instructor. Like, have a little bit of restraint. Like, I know she's trying to find out what happened with the MIG, but she's like says later, I don't normally invite students over. You're not even trying. I don't know that it's against the rules per se, but they're clearly not advertising it. It's just, and I just don't care for her. At least in that role, I didn't care for her. Although
really?
I thought the pep talk she gave him at the end was good.
I thought she was good in her role.
She was being a hard ass. Maybe it was just the physical stuff. It just was like, it felt very kind of dated and like.
The beginning I thought was great when she walks up the
oh yeah.
the superior officer, one of the superior officers is like
introducing her
and as what is she, like a physicist or something?
She's like a PhD in astrophysics
and she walks up and Tom Cruise looks at her and just like looks away in this shameful.
Oh, that's the best thing.
Because he had just hit on her hard.
Trying to sleep with her, trying to score with her to win a bet with Goose. Goose Man. Well, that was Goose's thing that wasn't even like a line, but just was is he literally takes his sunglasses off and like looks at her like, is that her? It's just a great moment. Yeah, I think it holds up for the most part, except maybe for that. And I do know that a little bit of the music is like quite dated, but I still love it.
Well,
I still listen to that sad music anthem. Like,
as far as the notes and everything goes, it would be fine, but with those synth sounds that are chosen, doesn't sound good.
Okay.
If it were redone like on violin and cello or whatever, it would sound nice, I think.
Maybe it wouldn't match up though, because then it would be like you have this like 80s movie with this like updated. It would have really well done.
It would have an organic, like dramatic feel, whereas the synth stuff just does not sound good. It just sounds cheap. These days.
Yeah, these days for sure. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else you want to say about it? Anything else you enjoyed? You want to go schedule a volleyball match with your buds and take your shirts off and chest bump and
do all kinds of slow
put your
high
arms around
fives
each other and be all sweaty and getting each other's pheromones and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And cool. What is with Tom Cruise riding motorcycles without a damn helmet? He does it in his. He's not 007. Mission Impossible. He does it in his Mission Impossible movies, and he did it in Top Gun.
Because it looks cool.
He has a death wish.
It looks cool. It's not going to look as cool with a fucking helmet on. Come on. Well, it's true. And it's,
brain
he's made it this
aren't
far.
Cool.
Yeah. That is a fact.
Yeah. So all you at home.
Wear a goddamn helmet.
Wear a helmet.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah.
If you can.
Good advice. Good for you looking out for our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full faced. With a neck toilet seat.
What?
With a neck brace. or whatever they are.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. It's like a squishy pad that goes over your shoulders under the helmet.
Like an airplane pillow?
Yeah, kind of.
But a little more protective.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. We'd love to know what you think. Go back and watch Top Gun. And I don't know, I think they're still delaying the new one coming out until theaters kind of reopen. I feel like I'm going to want to go see that.
I don't know why I thought they had come out with it already.
No, I think isn't that when he was yelling at people or was that a different movie? Oh, I don't know.
It might be out. Remember?
I thought they were stalling it for movies.
You should look it up right now.
For theaters to open back up.
Look it up.
You're so
Just
bossy.
fucking
You're
look
such a
it
bossy bitch. But anyway, you should tell them what to do while I look it up.
Do whatever you want to do, guys and gals.
You know what I fucking mean.
Tell us what you think about the Top Guns.
Go on YouTube and hit the bell and subscribe and hit like and do some comments. That's what I meant.
The socials.
My God, man.
Tell us what you think. What you think of us.
Why does it not say? Are these not in date order? And if you haven't seen Edge of Tomorrow, that is a great movie with Tom Cruise. I fucking love that. That was the Live, Die, Repeat. Great movie.
Oh, yeah, that was a cool one with the robots.
Were they robots?
Yeah, they were in like mech suits.
Oh, yeah.
Mech suits? Yeah, mech suits, mechanical suits.
I know what
like
it fucking
robotic
means,
suits.
but I don't remember the specific. Like the aliens?
No, the humans. The aliens were like
They
weird
were in mech suits?
robotic things. But anyway, Tom Cruise was in a robot suit. They were all in robot suits, remember?
I don't remember that.
And Tom Cruise kept reliving the day. Spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Kept reliving the day because he kept dying. And he got really good at what he was doing because of it. And it's a really cool movie.
Because he gets alien blood spilled on him or something, and so he kind of gets, I forget how it works.
Some weird time travel-y deal.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But watching him go through having to repeat this day and try to escape where he's at, and then like he gets run over
and becoming
he gets killed. So and then he just pops back at the beginning. It's torturous, but hilarious.
But also watching him become a pro at what he's doing, like flawlessly getting through the day at the end, at least. Obviously, the beginning was a shaky mess.
Might have to watch that again.
That was a really cool movie.
It's a good movie.
If you have not seen it.
And Emily Blunt, I just love her.
What's the movie called again?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
It says 2021 for Top Gun Maverick, but I don't know. I'd have to look more into it. But I think they've been delaying.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think they've been
Edge
delaying
of Tomorrow movie.
Till theaters stuff.
That's too bad. Stupid.
But I think that's kind of cool because
Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
I'm kind of excited to maybe see it in theaters. So I'm kind of glad that they've done that rather than like put it straight out to video or not video. Oh my God, I'm so dating myself.
Put it straight out to VHS.
Yes. Okay, hold on. Minority Report. That's another. I love that damn movie. What is it called? Edge of Tomorrow. I think the tagline was like Live, Die, Repeat. Yeah, great movie. Anyway, okay, thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the Flippity Dip.
You gonna insult them again?
Why would I insult them?
You called them flippity dips last time or something. Catch you on the flippity dips.
Oh, I don't remember.
Sorry about that.
No,
guys.
I would never insult them.
Again.
I would never insult them for a second time.
Good one. Beautiful. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.